Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Heart of the Swarm Part 17 on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries, run through a StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm campaign. I said Heart of the Swarm too many damn times. Anyway, by leveling up Kerrigan some more, we get some additional stats that we won't be able to use because in this mission, after we go talk to Abathur again, we gotta pick out our Mutalisk mutation. I do believe we're going with Vicious Glaive, yeah, because it gives us additional bounces.
Ah, bouncy.
Personally, none of the Mutalisk glaives are none of the Mutalisk mutations are honestly all that important. Vicious Glaive is just the one I like the most.
Unacceptable. Must be wiped clean. No trace left. Destroy Primal Zerg.
But why, Mr. Abathur?
Saw ranged Primal Zerg creatures on battlefield. Based on Hydralisk. Primal Zerg stole design from Swarm.
They are plagiarists.
On planet for hours, days, already being replicated.
Abathur, are you upset?
Yes.
Unacceptable. Swarm's power, ability to assimilate strengths. Primal Zerg must not take from us.
Don't worry about it. They'll be on our side.
Now, don't worry now. You silly Billy.
Yeah.
We got everything under control.
Well, not everything, but most things.
Of the Zerg. There, you will be tested.
Yeah. Paskard and I do not like swarm hosts.
If your rage makes you strong,
Excuse me. Mostly because they're actually a very effective defensive unit, and the majority of the StarCraft 2 campaigns don't really want you being on the defense, you know? This is one of the few missions where we are on the defense, and challenge runs for this mission justify me saying that this mission is not honestly as good as it's supposed to be.
the power is more ancient even than I. It comes at great cost. What will you sacrifice to have your revenge?
Everything. You're not supposed to do that, Liliana. I mean, Kerrigan.
It calls you. Go to it.
Go to your destiny.
Primal Zerg
Your
have
doom,
been
I mean your destiny.
They are coming for you.
Abathur, send me the creature you've been working on. The swarm host.
So we can blame Abathur for this critter.
Behold.
Primal essence spawns locusts to kill enemies.
Don't you like it? Worked
No,
real hard
no, I do
on
not,
it.
Abathur.
Refined.
All right, to be
Perfect.
perfectly honest, the Swarm Host is not a bad unit, quote unquote, but they require a lot more micro than it seems like, and they aren't nearly as successful on a defensive front as they're supposed to be for this mission. To be perfectly honest, you know, keep the original 5 Swarm Hosts that you get alive as long as you can, but you should be transitioning from Swarm Hosts into Mutalisks once we actually get into the base building portion of this mission.
Nothing stands in my way.
The Brack Pack has come back.
Yes. Now, to be honest, the locusts that the Swarm Hosts produce do have really high DPS, but the base locust cannot shoot up, doesn't have good travel ability, and is a timed life unit. So it doesn't really matter how effective it is. You always only have it for such a limited time that you can't really use it to your advantage as much as you want to. To be perfectly honest, the multiplayer incarnation of the Swarm Host is objectively better because the locusts that it spawns fly. They can still only attack grounded targets, but at least they fly, so they can traverse the map significantly better.
Spawning pool. It existed before names. From this primordial place, the Zerg arose.
I like Zervin's voice.
Within, one essence split into many.
It's time for background.
Stronger.
Yes, they call that phagocytosis, the consumption of cells by other cells. It is the way that organisms came to be in the primordial waters.
Transform. Transcend. Recommendation. Avoid pool. Catalytic fluid will overwhelm Queen's body. Not strong enough.
Uh-oh.
The Queen's hate is strong enough. survive, it will remake me. I will become more powerful than the old Queen of Blades.
All right,
Power hungry much, Miss Kerrigan?
Defend the hive cluster and the chrysalis until I am done. Or dead.
Yes, my queen.
So yeah, we're technically playing as Zagara this time, despite the fact that Zagara's not on the field.
I guess we gotta play as the runner-up, the lieutenant.
Why do we pronounce it as lieutenant?
Well, I think it depends on which side of the Atlantic Ocean you're on, because I know that the Brits tend to put it as lieutenant, but in America it's lieutenant.
Yeah,
With
I've always pronounced it as lieutenant. I mean, I know it's a French word, so fuck it, but
I'm
still.
Lieutenant Sage.
So, you'll notice that my setup for this mission is honestly not as optimal as it really should be. This side I've got my patrolling mutilisks, 2 swarm hosts, and a spine crawler supported by a queen. Usually, and this actually totally depends on if you're observing the mission or not, observing the fight or not. This is enough to actually hold off anything that isn't that isn't an ultralisk. But they sent an ultralisk this time, so now I have to actually generate viable units instead of just having my defensive units do the thing.
The primals are attacking the chrysalis.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Root. Another thing that I dislike about the swarm host is that the locust range is actually really short. It's about the length of half the screen.
Sure.
So yeah, as Pascal is mentioning here, I'm not entirely sure how consistent the defensive setups for this mission honestly are. Like the left ramp can be held with 3 swarm hosts, a spine crawler, and a queen pretty much indefinitely. That is me being sad because it means that I axed getting one of the achievements for this run, specifically the achievement where you prevent the chrysalis from taking any amount of damage. And if Abathur had been a full minute earlier,
Spawn many locusts to defend hive cluster from primal attacks. These primals are relentless. Spawn the locusts.
Am I right?
Kill them all.
so
Like
this
that.
this is effectively the you remember when we were doing all in, we got the Zelnaga artifact that would purge all the incoming Zerg.
Yeah.
Well, this is effectively that, because the primal locusts, although have a timed life, also do ridiculous spawn a ridiculous amount of locusts, and assuming that you can pay attention to how often the cooldown is up, which is once every 2 minutes, you can just use them to defend your base relatively effectively.
I would think that against a unit that is designed to against a creature that has sacrifice at the next end step, all you have to do is survive the attack, and then the threat is neutralized.
Sometimes, I mean, if the primal locusts actually totally do that, but our normal locusts do not do that as well.
Yeah, and they did that for the reason that units have to be just that. They have to be a semi-permanent, relatively permanent item at your disposal. That you have it until it is destroyed or lost or transmuted. But we don't have transmute in this game. You can't turn units into other units once created.
Oh yes, you can. The Zerg hi Dahaka. The Zerg specifically have the ability to mutate their units into other units. For example, Zerglings mutate into Banelings. Hydralisks mutate into Lurkers. We've not seen those yet. And Roaches can mutate into Ravagers. Those aren't actually in the campaign. Mutilisks can mutate into... Is it Mutilisks into Vipers? I think it's Mutilisks into Vipers. Or if it's not Mutilisks into Vipers, then it's Corruptors into Vipers. I think it's
to spawn
Mutilisks.
locusts.
We don't need to spawn locusts yet, though. Our 10 mutilisks will be able to take down most of this force without issue, because we've got vicious glaives, we got tier 2 flying attack, and we got tier 1 flying defense.
Yeah, that was gonna happen at some point.
Well, not if I did this correctly. Like, one of the interesting things about doing this mission correctly is microing the first 5 swarm hosts you get to specifically defend against the incoming waves as they're coming in. It's not a thing that I'm good at doing, mind you, but it's what I was supposed to do for this mission to ensure getting the other achievement. Waiting for gas, waiting for gas.
Oh, Vespane.
I don't know why I'm building another hatchery. I guess I'm building another hatchery specifically so that I can get additional zerglings out.
I sense a powerful presence.
A massive primal.
I sense a desert.
Savage, extreme
I sense a disturbance in the force.
must acquire.
No simple matter. To reach it, we must cross the battle between Brack and Yagdra's packs.
Yagdra will be dealing with in the next mission, but Brack is dead. It's just that the remnants of his force are still trying to fight us.
Yeah, nobody told these guys that Brack is dead. They just identify with Brack because they're pretty sure that Brack is awesome and still definitely totally not dead.
What I should do, honestly, is go take the additional Vespane geysers that are over at the expansion.
Packs are moving against us. Prepare for a pincer attack.
Why is the rum always gone?
The Vespane is always gone because Vespane units cost significantly more Vespane than they do minerals. It's a big problem for the Protoss. It's not as big a problem for the Zerg, but yeah, it's a problem for the Zerg as well.
I see everything's very chittery over here. On the quiet fronts.
And spawn the locusts.
Forces are under attack.
Attack!
I think I was hoping that the spawning a hatchery here would actually redirect the forces into attacking the hatchery instead of the cocoon, but apparently not.
Metamorphosis is halfway complete. Maintain our defense.
Huh. Yeah, the metamorphosis is half complete, but the picture of Kerrigan in the top left is completely unchanged.
Yeah, because we don't actually have access to Kerrigan. You know, she's inside the chrysalis. The countdown for her transformation is up at the top of the screen, Mr. Cloud.
Yeah, bullshit. She's gonna hit the snooze and say, "No, put another 5 minutes on. I'm sleepy."
I hope she doesn't, because her waking up is incredibly plot important.
Yeah. You can
All right,
say
now that we have
again.
24 plus 2 mutalisks, we're going to go and get the bonus objective. This Ravasaur that's down here is a very, very dangerous enemy on the higher difficulties. So, this Tyrannosaur. Please note that although he has a physical attack here, he actually has a ranged attack once we start fighting him.
Yeah,
Like so.
I see him emitting those spikes from his face.
And deaded. Yay!
But no match for the swarm.
Acquired. We'll research primal essences further.
If you want to, you can actually blunt Yggdra and Brack's assaults on their spawning ground, and it's not honestly all that ineffective of a strategy. I just don't want to do it.
And in the next part, everybody,
We will finish Crucible by, defending Kerrigan's Chrysalis.
Yes, the Crucible. Evolution. In reverse.
Well, no, it's evolution in forwards.
It is. Transformation. Metamorphosis. Onomatopoeia.
Spend 1 in a red and a green and gain 2 red or green mana.